article in my field, computer science. The article title is Methodologies in User Interface Design. It was written by Pamela Landisdell, and it was published in IEEE AES System Magazine in August 1995. The main idea of this article is talking about the importance of simplify the design of user interface design in order to make it easy to learn and easy to use. In the beginning of the article, the author defines two important terminologies in my field. The first terminology is user interface. User interface means means that the system layer that allow user to interact and communicate with computers. This is the user interface. For example, when you open for example, the Word, you see that interface. There is a white page, and there is a button above that page. This is the interface. Behind this interface, there is a code. The user doesn't see that code, but he just sees that interface. The second terminology is usability. A usable system means that the system that can help the user to perform their task with a minimum number of errors and mistakes. For example, when you use any software, you can there are many software that is easy to understand and easy to learn, and you can use it from the first time. And there are many software that are very difficult to use, and you can't understand, and where there is many buttons here, what is the function of this button. This is not usable system. Usable system is very important because if you design a usable system, you will decrease the training cost. You don't have to train the user to in order to make them learn how to use that software. And this will increase user satisfaction. They will be satisfied about the software they are using. There are many obstacles that are faced by developers when they use the traditional development strategies. Traditional development strategies means that if you start when you want to create a program, the developer usually start and then design the interface and then develop the program, and after that deliver it to the users. Users after that give feedback to the programmers and developers. When they give feedback to the developer, it can be a problem exist in the software usability, and sometimes there is no any difficulties in using that program. If there is a usability problem, that means the programmers and developers make a good guess. But if they are many difficulties in using that program, the company should think about maybe ignore that problem. And the second choice, maybe the company need to fix that problem immediately, and hope that their business will not be lose. And the last option for the company is to try to fix that problem in the next version of that software. The article after that suggests a very useful way to prevent the mistakes in that traditional strategy, which is involve the users in the process of development from the beginning. That can be achieved by two things. The first one is user scenarios, and the second one is style guide. I will explain what is the meaning of that. User scenarios, that means that the developers have to sit with the users and contact with them in order to know what task they are wanted to be achieved by using that software. So the developer will know the requirement. So he will know how to develop that program professionally. The other thing is style guide. Style guide, that the developer have to draw a picture or sketches or something like that in order to let the user imagine how the program will be after it will be finished. So that the user will be able to imagine the software, will be able to recognize where might be the error, and a developer can fix this error in early stages. The last thing, the article suggests 6 guidelines that help the developer to design a good user interface. I will talk about 2 of them. The first one is to be consistent. Being consistency means that the developer have to design a similar screen. They have their program have to have the same colors, appearance, and function. For example, if the developer developers choose color blue, for example, for their software, they have to keep that color in each screen. So if the user continue to use that program, he will not feel that he will feel that he is in the same program. If you put one screen in red, for example, and another screen in green, and another screen in blue, the user will get confused. Maybe he will get out of that program. This is the meaning of consistency. And it also means that if you have a button, for example, submit button in the form, you always make it at the bottom of that page. If the developer make, for example, in one form, the submit button at the bottom, and in another form, make the submit button in the top, the user will be confused. He will not learn that program easily. The second guideline is error handling and avoidance. This is mean that the developer have to prevent users from making any mistakes in their program. For example, I want the user to enter date of birth, for example. If I let the user to enter the date, maybe he will by mistake enter 13 in the month. There is no 13 number in the month. This is a wrong value. So if I let the user to enter the value by himself, maybe he will make the mistake. And this mistake doesn't happen because of the user. This is the responsibility of the developer to ensure all the data inside the program are correct. So I have to maybe put a restricted value from 1 to 12 so that the user will not make that mistake again. In conclusion, users always expect a high quality programs, and that program should help the users to do their task professionally, and that can be achieved if the developer pay attention to the guidelines and to the modern development strategies. This is the article that I have read, and my reaction to this article, I think this article is very helpful, even though this article is very old. It was written in 1995. I think lots of information in this article haven't changed. It's still the same. This is the rule, and we still follow this rule nowadays. And it also, I benefit from this article, from the part which talk about the development strategies, because when I was in undergraduate degree, I developed many programs, and we as a team use the traditional development strategies. We just create the program, and after that give it to the users. And after that we shock that the user doesn't like don't like the program, and we don't know why they don't like it. We follow each rule, and it was perfect in our perspective. So I think if we follow this rule from the beginning and we involve the user in our development phases, we will create a good program, and we will save a lot of time and effort, because we will do it one